They are the Earth's ancient pathfinders, living cathedrals of the natural world, giants of grace and sacred wanderers who carry the memory of landscapes within. These are the African elephants. In the northeastern part of the Kruger National Park of South Africa, the Mphongolo River lies dry. It is the peak of the dry season, and what remained are only a few shallow pools, a scattering of mudbaths, and hidden water below the sand, where the geology and topography allow water to collect. There are also several man-made water points with built dams and water troughs in the area, with sufficient drinking water for animals. In spite of this, hundreds of elephants migrate daily from the adjacent Mupani veld to this ephemeral river's dry bed. Mainly female herds with their young take part in this, and after observing them daily for quite a while, it dawned on me: the Mphongolo is the perfect training ground for families of giants. There are several courses to take part in, from safety procedures and discipline, caring for one another, digging for subsurface water in the sand, protocols at the mud baths, as well as learning the ever-important ranking system in elephant society. Stay with me and let me show you the fascinating world of elephant education. During the hottest time of the day, they arrive in large numbers in a rush, storming down the dusty, slippery slopes of the Mphongolo. For days in a row, I sat there next to these ancient pathfinders' classroom, observing their mind-blowing intelligence. One day, I parked my vehicle in a shady spot in an attempt to hide from the scorching heat. It was a slightly different position than all the other days, and I witnessed something remarkable. A herd rushed forward as every other day until their tuskless matriarch noticed me. At her silent signal, the entire family froze. No sound and hardly any movement. All waited for her to assess the situation. After a while, they started moving again. But suddenly she stopped, sensed something, and started moving backwards. The adult females then formed a protective circle around the young ones, facing outward. This is part of their highly developed defense strategy. This protective behavior demonstrates that in elephant society, raising and protecting the young is truly a shared responsibility that ensures the survival of the next generation. What happened next really had me in awe. One of the adult females that formed the protective circle did a head shake, indicating irritation, and then a young calf appeared, and I realized what happened. The young calf fell behind, but the matriarch sensed the lack of his presence with the herd, and because of the potential threat of my presence, she stopped the whole herd until he was safe. And of course, not everybody was happy that they all had to wait for the latecomer. He was given a prod, and he humbly went to the matriarch to apologize. Elephant's discipline is not enforced with fear. It is guided by trust and leadership. Only then did they continue down the slope towards the water. What also astounded me was their care for one another. On another occasion, the herd charged down the slope when a young female sensed a treacherous ditch, and suddenly she stopped, turned back, and pointed out the danger to a young calf behind her. At a closer look, the potential danger was obvious. Another important lesson to learn is digging for subsurface water in the dry riverbed. Guided by memory and instinct, with powerful feet and trunks, they dig deep into the riverbed, sending sand flying as they work. But not every well is a success. Sometimes one has to start all over again. Of course, the drier the season, the deeper the dig, and new work is often part of the deal. The first sandy or muddy water is discarded, then the refreshing, clean, cool reward. Mothers and their offspring share the wells, drinking side by side. Across the riverbed, families dig their own wells, leaving the sand pitted with holes, each a testament of perseverance and knowledge passed down through generations. The lesson of ranking for me is not easy to watch. Yet, this is how elephants learn the hard truth of hierarchy. A truth that keeps the peace when water runs low. On occasion, I saw one young mother dig tirelessly in the sand, her baby collapsing nearby in exhaustion. At last, she struck water, but before she could fully enjoy the fruit of her hard labor, a high-ranking family pushed her away and took her reward. Ranking and hierarchy also operates at herd level. One family was busy quenching their thirst at the wells they have patiently dug, when from across the dry riverbed another family approached. Without confrontation, the first family moved off in a hurry. Among these giants, such encounters are settled not with battles, but through subtle shifts of respect and hierarchy. Between the mudbaths and pools, there is often a complicated system operating with several factors at play. The physical importance of the actions, be it a mud bath or drinking water, and of course, the ever important principles of ranking and hierarchy. I have watched these sacred wanderers for hours and days, and they never fail to surprise me. Both activities, mud baths and drinking water, is essential for all families because of the scorching heat that can often reach 40 plus degrees Celsius. A mud bath is nature's supreme cooling system for these pachyderms. The unique structure of their skin is the result of layers and layers skin cells that bend under pressure, causing deep cracks to form. Water flows through these cracks and crevices through capillary action. This process transfers the skin into a network of channels. As a result, an elephant's skin can hold up to 10 times more water than a smooth surface. In this way, body temperature is maintained through evaporative cooling. The fractured skin helps to hold the mud and prevent it from sliding off. Families move between the pools and the mud baths to make use of both on a daily basis. But here, ranking and hierarchy comes into play. This is what decides who drinks first and who must wait. I've seen on several occasions how individuals or a family had to make way for others in a higher position, and sometimes they just have to wait patiently till it is their turn. The riverbed with its sandy beaches, pools and cooling mud baths is also a perfect training ground for informal education in the form of play. This is where infant males learn the art of sparring without getting hurt. In the shallows, play is turned into practice. Calves run, splash, and mock charge, while older siblings and cousins join in, gently guiding the chaos. What looks like carefree fun is in fact an informal school where the basics of strength, coordination, and social cues are learned. After an exhausting afternoon on the training grounds of the Mphongolo, the pace up the bank of the river back to the Mpani veld is slow, very slow, but lessons were learned, lessons that will become stepping stones towards strength and wisdom, shaping not only their future but also the harmony of the herd itself. Not all lessons belong to the young. Late one afternoon, after the herds have left, I found an old female alone. Later, a young bull came and tried to encourage her to move on, to rejoin the herd, which was no longer in sight. It was probably her son. They walked together for a while and then came to a halt. He greeted her with a drunk touch, and she responded with the same. Then, with slow steps, she departed on her own. Her long journey on this earth was drawing to a close. There comes a time to separate from the herd. 6 sets of molars worn away. The next day, I found her again, nibbling on soft leaves close to the pool. Till next time, may the wild always find a way to surprise you.